the vote will be made on this motion. I guess what I've heard is only the comments will be restricted to only those on the cards that deal with the 4 sites inside the gate. And copies will be made to help the committee, but the originals will be kept in the town services office.
I would also like to add to that, based on the comments of Mr. Hollins and Ms. Stroop, that they be allowed to meet at their convenience and in their own homes, since this is not a vote, not a referendum, and not a ballot. I think that's a fair assessment, and I appreciate the comments of both Mr. Hollins and Ms. Stroop, and that they be received by the town council no later than Thursday, October 9th, at the town council meeting for consideration.
Okay, I'll try.
I do think that we will see, based on the sample that some people have used for filling out the card, I do think we will see input related to whether the town hall is built inside or outside of the gate, along with comments related to other sites. So I think as the ad hoc committee reviews the cards, there will also be information included. It may say this is better than this or something like that. So I think we will be able to receive information related to outside the gate, along with some of the comments that are made about the sites inside the gate. Does that make any sense?
I don't think it will the way you set it up, but go ahead. I mean, y'all are doing what you want to do.
I think this is the way the cards are set up. There was a unanimous vote to evaluate the 4 sites. That's what the evaluation was held on September the 18th. That's what the vote was held prior to that evaluation, that those would be the 4 sites considered by the town. Again, a unanimous agreement to do so. And we sent out the cards. The cards asked for specifics, pros and cons on those 4 sites. We have made all that information available at the town meeting and on the website. Many people have responded to that. Many people have taken the time to look at those sites. We should respect what we said and respect what's on the cards and respect the time and integrity of the committee. It is not unanimous at this point in time. I understand that. But I vote my conscience, and I vote what I said we would do, and the stand that we have taken for a long time. So I think it is time to proceed.
I respect what you say, I just disagree with it.
Okay. Anything else? Before I try again.
Okay, for the record again, we have not been ignoring the lot outside the gate. We have evaluated it in June. We evaluated it again in August. All of us have gone down there and looked at it. We were asked to look at it for reasons other than the fact that it is outside the gate. We have done so. I am in the process of getting more copies of a report from the TVA that was requested, by both the MRA and the town of Black Mountain on the flooding issues of Swannanoa and Flat Creek. So anyone who wants to see one, let me know and I'll get you a copy. But there are a lot of other issues. We have never heard, it was said in one of the early flyers that this property was totally vetted. But we have not heard anything other than a set savings of possibly $100,000 on the cost of the lot from what we paid for the Florida Terrace lot. We've not heard anything about expected costs for what it's going to take to build in a floodplain. And yes, I know we can build in a floodplain. The good news is we have other options than building in a floodplain. I have heard, we have a piece of paper from the Black Mountain town manager. The only definitive answer I've heard about anything about annexation is Black Mountain will not consider de-annexing anything within its town limits. So that for me kind of settles that issue. And I see no reason to pay the town of Black Mountain for police services, water services, sanitation, anything else, just so that we do not have the inconvenience for some of the town hall within our town limits. We as a town have a responsibility to take care of our citizens and do so within our town limits. It's nobody else, other town's business. It's ours, and we need to do it within our town limits and pay for our own services.
May I speak? I would like to follow up on that as we've gotten into this issue, as we look at the ad hoc protocol commissions that we're doing, but to follow up on what Commissioner Vincent had to say that in communication from Matt Settlemeyer, who, and I have this for the record, be glad to share it with you anytime, regarding, I've heard comments on different colored sheets. I forget what color they are, they've been so many, but basically that it would be easy to get annexation from, or de-annexation from the town of Montreat. But let me share with you with this email from Matt Settlemeyer dated last week. Mary, as always, it was a pleasure seeing you last week. I know that the Montreat Town Hall location is still quite an issue for your board, but I did want to let you to know what discussions people have had with me about it. Despite, while the town has no position on the site for your new town hall, I have advised folks who have called me. That was no one on the town council, to my knowledge. I don't recall their names, according to Matt Settlemeyer, again, the town administrator or town manager for the town of Black Mountain. But I have had calls from two people that Black Mountain is not inclined to de-annex any property currently in our town limits. As you are aware, de-annexation would require local legislation from Raleigh, and the Board of Aldermen are not supportive of that as a general principle. I think that speaks loudly to what Commissioner Vincent has to say, that if we were to build our town hall in the town of Black Mountain, we would be seeking police protection from the town of Black Mountain. We would be paying Black Mountain building permits. We would be paying Black Mountain for sanitation services, not to speak of the fact that this is a piece of property in a floodway, below a dam, in a floodplain with sewers on it. There's another voice that we haven't heard from that I would like to speak to tonight. Quite by happenstance and in a very Presbyterian kind of way, I had an opportunity or a need to go into the town of Black Mountain on business last week. Went to Tyson's warehouse to pick up a patio set that I just happened to walk in one day to buy at Tyson's just on a whim. Was picking up my patio set with Joe. A young man came up and said to me, "Oh, you're from Montreat." I said, "Yes, I'm from Montreat." He said, "Oh, I live on Montreat Road." I said, "Really? Where do you live?" He said, "Oh, I live in the double wide next to Flat Creek Road." I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Stephen Phillips." I said, "Do I have permission to use your name?" He said, "Yes." I said, "You're the voice I haven't heard from yet. I've heard lots of people in Montreat who tell me it's just fine to build the Montreat Town Hall in the Black Mountain neighborhood, but I haven't heard your voice. I didn't come seeking it, but what do you think, Mr. Phillips, about building the Montreat Town Hall next to your home?" He said, "I don't want it there." So, you know, what does it say to people when we're talking about building the town of Montreat Town Hall in the town of Black Mountain and paying under their jurisdiction? So those are the voices. So yes, I firmly am convinced it should be limited to the 4 sites within the town limits of Montreat. The site above the gate, Pratt Park, next to the post office, and yes, Florida Terrace, which we currently own. But I raised my hand on September 18th when the designers and the architects, "Did you change your mind?" You know, surprisingly, of what you think, I raised my hand. But you know what? I've changed my mind 2 or 3 times since that point in time. I actually went that night kind of hoping and expecting it to be the lot next to the post office. I said, "Wouldn't that be the perfect site up there? That's what I was hoping for. But you know what? Those aren't the two sites that came to mind when I finished up that site. But you know, I was kind of hoping that would be the end of the problem. We could all settle there. So I'm looking forward to the comment sites. I've spent a lot of time since September 18th walking the properties. I narrowed it down to 2, and I have my feelings. I look forward to the comments. I've walked, I've listened, I continue to walk, and I continue to listen. But thank you very much. It should be within the town limits of Montreat. I've been consistent on that from the beginning, and I continue to be so. I have no apologies for that.
Okay, I'll try again.
Well, I wasn't going to repeat what anybody else said, but my hope has been that when we see the comments come in, we will see that there's a possibility for a compromise.
Okay. Okay, I'll try again from what I've heard you say. It would be a motion to approve the protocol for the ad hoc committee. Let me go back 1 minute, having heard Bill. Approve the protocol for the ad hoc committee in writing. The comments will be restricted to the 4 sites inside the gate and listed on the postcard. Only the comments on those 4 sites will be recorded. Copies of the cards will be made for the committee. Originals will be kept in the town services office. The committee may choose to meet in the town services office or the place that's convenient for them. They will provide the information to the Board of Commissioners no later than October 9th.
Will we also be able to see the electronic copies of the postcards? If you're making those.
Yes, they are a public record. We
Okay,
already had a
thank you.
request that they be released, and so what we'll do is make them available to everyone.
Sure, thank you, because I'd like to read all of them.
Okay, you want that added to the motion?
It's a comment, I don't see that it needs to add, it's not directions to the ad hoc committee.
No.
It's so it doesn't need to be part of the motion.
Okay, do you have it written down? Will you take the mic and read it, please? I'm sure you'll say it better than I did.
The motion I have is to approve a protocol for the ad hoc committee in writing. The comments to be reviewed are restricted to the 4 sites inside the gate and listed on the card. Only those comments on those 4 sites will be recorded. Copies, both in print and electronic format, will be made for the committee and will also be available to the public. The originals of the printed comment cards will be retained in the town services office. The committee may choose to meet at the town services office or another location convenient to them, and their report is due to the Board of Commissioners no later than October 9th.
It does state in there that it's the physical comment cards.
Yes, the printed physical comment cards will stay in the town services
And that's
office.
the only ones to be considered.
Yes, ma'am.
By the ad hoc committee. The commissioners will consider all comments, but for the motion, only the physical cards are being considered that we have each one.
Okay, thank you.
Will be moved there or set? I didn't get moved. Jack, why don't
When we make that move,
you make the motion?
remember all of that, but we ain't going to have a written ad hoc. Yeah, but I move that we take the,
Can you speak to the
the ad
microphone?
hoc committee's protocol in writing and presented through the motion here tonight.
Second. Call the question.
Those in favor of the motion read by Misty?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay. 4 in favor, 1 opposed, and it's Tim Helms who's opposed. Under new business, except, did I see you had under old business a thing on Graybeard? A motion that I don't have on my sheet? thought I saw it on the thing up there, no?
There is a new business
Okay. Okay, I just thought it was under old business. Under new business, you will have the change order approval for Upper Kentucky Road Phase 1 neighborhood utility assessment, and you'll get the cards, get the material soon.
Yes, we expect it by tomorrow. What I will say is that they are very much in keeping with what we've discussed. It's roughly about $129,000 change order, and that's in order to do the extension for the residential assessment project.